So, nag-stop tayo dito sa withdrawal. So, let's proceed to the next transaction. Sorry. Okay. So, on October 23, proceed tayo. October 23, the transaction is we collected 35,000 from Cagayan Company. So, if you remember, balikan lang natin yung October 11. 'Di ba? Nung October 11, we painted signs for Cagayan Company that is 170,000 on account. Ibig sabihin, nag-provide tayo ng services but hindi pa tayo nababayaran on October 11. Now, on October 23, ang sabi dito, we already collected 35,000 pesos from Cagayan Company. So how do we record the collection of receivables? So let's analyze. So what did we receive in this transaction? Ano yung natanggap natin from this transaction? So we received 35,000 pesos as collections from our accounts receivable. Now, sorry, from our accounts receivable. So what did we receive? Cash. So, if nakatanggap tayo ng collections from our accounts receivable, nakatanggap tayo ng cash, anong mangyayari sa accounts receivable natin? Ang accounts receivable account natin, will it increase or will it decrease because of the collection? Of course, if we analyze, kung may collection na tayo from our accounts receivable, yung accounts receivable natin, magbababa na siya. So how do we decrease our accounts receivable? So ilalagay natin siya sa credit side. So we have cash, debit, because anong i-debit natin dito? What did we receive from this transaction? Cash, 35,000 pesos. Anong i-credit natin? I-credit natin ngayon yung accounts receivable from October, October 11. I-credit natin siya because from 170,000 pesos na accounts receivable, may collection tayo na 35,000. So, bababa siya ng 35,000 pesos. That's why we credit accounts receivable 35,000 pesos. Next, we have October 27. Now, October 27 here, sabi dito, you paid salaries of 57,000 for the month. So, pag nagbabayad ka ng salaries mo, anong na-incur mo? Anong effect nito? If you pay for the salaries of your employees, yan, staff mo, you incurred expenses. You incurred what? Salaries expense. Always debit your expenses. And anong i-credit mo kasi nagbayad ka? Anong nawala sa'yo? Cash. So you debit salaries expense, credit cash, for what? 57,000 pesos for the payment of salaries. Okay. Next, October 30, you paid buy and tell 7,500 for the communication services for the month. So how do you record it? So again, it's an expenses, you incur expenses, and you already paid for it. So again, bababa na naman ang cash mo. So how do you record it? Take note, na-record natin siya as telephone expense. Kasi yun yung gamit nung company. Yun yung gamit ni Daganta, telephone expense. If walang telephone expense, pwede naman siya na general lang na expenses, kung ano man tawag nila. Pwede utilities expense. Okay, ganun. Now, you have to credit also cash kasi nagbayad siya ng cash. So, Okay. So that is our journal entries. So yung ginawa natin is journal entries we analyzed. Analyze mo siya kung anong i-credit, kung anong i-debit mo, kung anong i-credit mo. That is how you journalize. Now, what is our third step? Our third step is from journalizing, ita-transfer mo ngayon yung recording mo to the ledger, general ledger. What do you mean by that? Ang posting, ibig sabihin nun, ipopost mo siya or ito-transfer mo, ibig sabihin nun, you have to transfer the amounts from the journal to the ledger. Ano ibig sabihin yan? Yung journal natin, ang journal natin in general, nandyan lahat ng transactions, mapa-cash, accounts receivable, payables, expenses, revenues, etc. Nandyan lahat. When we say you have to post it to the ledger, isa-summarize mo siya. What do you mean by summary? Isa-summarize mo siya, ibig sabihin, lahat ng transactions sa cash, ilalagay mo sa cash book. Okay? Lahat ng transactions sa accounts receivable, ilalagay mo siya sa accounts receivable. Kumbaga, isa-separate mo siya according to their separate books. Books of cash, book of accounts receivable, book of accounts payable, book of expenses, book of revenue. Example. Okay, let's go to our example. Ito. Sorry if medyo maano yung music sa kapitbahay. Sorry. Now, we have here, di ba, the first transaction kanina natin is that si Nelson Daganta gumawa ng business. Gumawa na Liceo Sign Company. So, he deposited 250,000 in the bank under the name of the new business. Now, how do we summarize it or how do we post it? So, this is the journal. Ito yung journal na ginawa natin kanina. Now, we have to transfer it to the general ledger. How do we transfer it? So, here in this transaction, dalawang account title, diba? We have cash and we have the Ganta capital. So, ang gagawin mo dyan is, itong cash na 250,000, ilalagay mo siya sa book of cash. Isi-separate mo. Kumbaga, ililista mo siya doon. Okay? That's how you separate it. And then, yung Daganta Capital, lalagay mo din siya sa Daganta Capital lang na book. Yung sarili na book. Tapos ililista mo doon na 250,000 pesos. So that is the posting to the general ledger. Ilalagay mo lang siya to their specific book. Okay? Example. Ito, example natin. So, lahat po yun, yung ginawa natin kanina, lahat po yun, di ba? You have 250,000. I hope you noted, kung hindi nyo pa po nasulat yung journal entries natin, it's okay. If you haven't written it, okay lang naman. Pero if nasulat ninyo, then you'll have a guide dito. Okay, we have your initial investment nung October 1 to 50, that is debit. If you remember also, nung October 1, nagbayad tayo ng renta. So, pag nagbayad tayo ng renta, ano nangyari sa cash? Bumaba ang cash. That is credit. So, 250,000 minus 60, ano to siya? Moving average to siya, kaya siya nagbabago yung, nagbabago yung balances. Okay, so 60, naging 190. Okay, kaya siya ganyan, 250 minus 60, 190. Or pwede naman, mamaya na lang. Another way is that, pwede na ganito. Ililista mo lang siya by debits and by credits. Ito yung sa baba. Okay? Ito yung mas simple. This is the T account. Okay? We discussed it earlier. Ito. Ito sa taas, medyo formal to siya. Ito yung sa mga libro na, yung sa mga general ledger na nabibili sa bookstores, may ganito na format. Ito, pwede na ganito lang siya, itong sa baba, na straight lang siya. Ilista mo lang lahat ng debits, i-total mo, and then ilista mo din lahat ng credits, i-total mo. Ito yung gagawin natin para easier, itong nasa baba. Though okay lang naman ito, very formal lang ito na way how to present your ledger. Again, nung October 3, bumili tayo ng supplies. Nung bumili tayo ng supplies, nagbayad tayo ng cash, so credit yan. That's 57 dito. Then, we rendered services. naka-receive tayo ng cash. So, that's 87,000. So, debit. Okay? Debit. Then, payment of AR, 55,000. And cash withdrawal, 25,000. Ang gagawin nyo sa posting or sa ledger is that isa-isahin nyo siya. Lahat ng transactions na ginawa natin, isa-summarize nyo. First is cash. So, lahat ng merong cash doon, yun yung i-record nyo under sa cash mo. So, ito yun lahat. Okay? Ito yun lahat. After nyo siya ma-summarize from here, 250, I hope na may lista kayo nung yung journal entries natin para masundan ninyo. And then, pag na-total na ninyo yung nasa debit side, it's 370 to 500. And sa cash naman na nasa credit, 261. So the value of our cash is actually 111,000 pesos. So that's how you summarize, that's how you post your journal to the ledger. Isa-summarize mo. Cash pa lang po ito ha. Okay. I'll move to the next slide para mas makita. Okay. Ito naman. So we have here, next natin is accounts receivable. Accounts receivable natin, meron tayong dalawang entries na affected si accounts receivable. Na accounts receivable, so we have here October 11, 170,000 pesos. If maalala nyo, meron tayong 170,000 pesos na accounts receivable na debit ha. If meron kayong, please, I think meron naman kayong copy nung sa slides, diba? If meron kayong copy nung sa slides, pwede ninyo ako sundan para masundan niyo yung discussion ko. Yung October 11, meron tayong 170,000 doon na debit. Noong October 10, October 23, meron tayong credit na 35,000. So, meron tayong debit, 170, credit, 35, minus mo yan. 170 minus 35, magkano? 135. So, our balance for accounts receivable is 135,000 pesos. Okay? What about prepaid supplies? Sa prepaid supplies, hanapin niyo doon sa journal entries. Ano ba ang transactions na may prepaid supplies? Isa lang. That's the acquisition. Yung bumili tayo, that's 57,000 pesos. So, ang balance ng prepaid supplies, 57,000 pesos. So, can you follow? So, ang posting is, isa-summarize mo lang siya isa-isa. So, kapag manual ito, medyo pag manual ito, medyo mahirap kasi isa-isahin mo siya. That's why, yung iba, they invest on accounting softwares, lalo na pag madami silang transactions and account titles because the software already will summarize the transactions for them. So, ang ibibigay na lang ng software, ito, listahan ng magkano ang accounts receivable, magkano ang prepaid supplies, yan. So, para mas maintindihan natin, syempre, magmamanual tayo ngayon. So, what about prepaid rent? Isa lang naman yung transaction sa prepaid rent. The prepaid rent is on October 1, isa lang, that we acquired it 60,000 pesos. So, the service vehicle also is 195,000 pesos. Isa lang naman. Kung titingnan nyo yung accounts receivable yung service vehicle natin, isa lang siya. That's 195,000 pesos. Now, let's go to our accounts payable. Sa accounts payable, we have two transactions. One is on October 12. Di ba, naalala nyo yung October 12 nung, one is on October 2, nung nangutang tayo ng sasakyan, 195,000, di ba? Nung nangutang tayo ng sasakyan, pagka October 12 nun, eto, debit, nagbayad tayo. Magkano binayad natin? 55,000 pesos. So, magkano ang ating accounts payable balance? 140,000 pesos. Please take note pala. Mali ito. The 140 should be on the credit side. Sorry. Ang 140 dapat nandito. Change ko na lang, mami. It should be here. Kasi, bakit? Kasi accounts payable, debit yan. Accounts payable, credit yan. And of course, para hindi ko yung manito, the higher between 195 and 55. So 195 minus 55 equals 140,000 pesos. So you have 140,000 pesos for our accounts payable. What about our service revenue? Service revenue natin, we have two transactions, October 9 and 11. So we have 87,500 and 170,000 pesos. So we have a total of 257,500. So this this is how we make our posting, no, from journal to ledger. Isa-summarize mo siya per account titles. Okay? Salaries, we have 57,000. We have telephone expenses, then 75. Daganta withdrawal, we also have 25,000 pesos. Isa lang naman siya. So, lista nyo lang. And then, the Ganta Capital, we also have one. That's 250,000 pesos. So, absorb muna. So, if you have there the copy, tingnan nyo muna. I'll give you time muna kung para ma-check ninyo kung saan galing ito, saan galing yan. So, check nyo muna like accounts receivable, saan galing itong October 11, October 23, etc. So, check niyo muna. I'll give you time. Then, well, i-ano ko siya in the next slide. So, okay. Masundan ba kung saan galing tong amounts na to? So, these amounts came from the journal entries. Okay, ang ginawa lang, sinummarize lang natin siya into separately. So, iniisa-isa lang natin siya. So, next page ko para mas maintindihan. Now, before pala nun, step 1, analyze. Diba? We analyze. Step 2, anong step 2? Journal entries. Yun yung debit, cash, credit, the Ganta capital, yun. Entries, journal entries. Yung i-record. Third, anong ginawa natin? Third, ito yung third. Posting. Posting from journal to the general ledger. Ibig sabihin, you summarized. From here, like ganito. Sabi ko nina, book of cash, ilagay mo siya sa cash. Transactions involving capital, ilagay mo siya sa capital. Kumbaga, i-summarize mo lang. That's step 3. Okay? This is the general ledger. And then, ito. Summarize na siya. So, after you summarize it, makikita mo yung balances for each account titles, for each account. After mo ma-summarize yung each account, ito yung mga balances ha. 135, 57, 60, 195, 140, yan, etc. 257, 57, 75, 25,000, and 250. That's the balances for each account titles. Now, what's next? Ano bang next sa step 3? What is next after the general ledger? On number 4 is you have to prepare for your trial balance. That is our number 4. Actually, after mo sa recording and sa pag-summarize na pagkuha ng balances for each, madali na lang siya. Madali na lang siya. Kasi ngayon, gagawin na lang, you classify it. Okay? Para mas makita mo, or you have to check if balance ba siya. Kaya natin siya tinatawag na trial balance. Okay. A trial balance is to provide a listing to verify the equality of the debits and the credits in the ledger. So, ano yan? Okay, wait, sorry. Okay, now here, let's check. Diba, itong 100,000, 111,000, 135, 57, 60, 195, 57, 75, and 25,000 are all the balances from our general ledger. Galing po yan dito. Okay? Yung cash natin ito, 111,000. Yung lahat ng balances na ito, gagawin mo siyang trial balance. Paano ka mag-trial balance? The trial balance, i-check mo lang naman if equal ang debits and credits. So, ililista mo siya per debits and per credits. Now, cash, 111,000. Accounts receivable, 135. Prepaid supplies, 57. Prepaid rent, 60. Service vehicle, 195. And then we also have salaries expense, 57. We have telephone expense, 75. We have the Ganta withdrawal, 25,000. Okay. And then accounts receivable, accounts payable, 140. Service revenue, we have 257,500. We have the Ganta capital, 250,000. So, to check if balance sila, total mo lang. So, the balance of both debits and credits is 647,500. So, that is your trial balance. Okay? Next is, what is next? Ano ba ang next niyan? So after our trial balance, we adjust. May mga adjustments po tayo. What are these adjustments? So again, adjusting entries are journalized and posted on step 5. Okay, to record approvals first, what do we adjust? Ano bang ina-adjust natin? We adjust deferrals and we adjust accruals. Example nito, basahin ko muna to, then I'll explain it. Deferrals is the postponement of the recognition of an expense already paid but not yet incurred. So, kumbaga, ang expense, you already paid for it, but not yet incurred. So, nabayaran mo na, pero hindi mo pa nagagamit. Example nito, if maalala nyo, kanina, we bought prepaid supplies worth 57,000 pesos. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo. Deferred siya. Hindi muna natin siya i-record as expense. Hindi muna natin siya i-record as expense kasi hindi pa naman siya, hindi pa siya nagagamit. And example din doon, yung kanina na bumili tayo, hindi bumili. Nagbayad tayo in advance for the rent. So the prepaid rent. So the rent was already paid but not yet incurred. Hindi pa siya nagagamit. So, okay? Example of that. And then, meron din tayo as to revenue. It's the revenue already collected but not yet earned. So, ibig sabihin ng revenue already collected but not yet earned, the revenue was already collected, cash was already received, but we haven't earned it yet. Ibig sabihin, we haven't rendered our services yet. So, yun siya. On the other hand, we also have accruals. So accruals, what is accruals? Here naman, accruals is the recognition of an expense already incurred but not yet paid. Ibig sabihin, accrued siya, already incurred siya, hindi mo pa nababayaran. Examples are salaries, accrued salaries. The salary is already accrued or kailangan mo na dapat naswelduhan mo na sila pero hindi mo pa sila nababayaran. So that is accrued salary. So an expense already incurred but not yet paid, hindi pa bayad. Or on the other hand, it's revenue earned but not yet collected. Ito naman yung example natin kanina na we already rendered the services but we haven't been paid yet. Hindi pa tayo nababayaran. So ito naman yung example ng accrued na revenue. Earned but not yet collected. Okay? So let's apply it on our problems. Apply natin siya sa examples natin for you to understand. So adjusting entries. And aside from that, we also adjust yung mga depreciation, di ba? Kasi of the time, those properties, those equipments and machineries depreciates day by day. So nag-a-adjust tayo. So discuss na natin yun siya further on the next succeeding slides. Now, okay, wait lang. Sorry. Now, or on first adjusting entry, if you remember, we paid the 6 months rent in advance on that office building on October 1, which is 60,000. So 60,000 is for 6 months. No, October 1 pa yon. Now, let's assume that today is December 30, end of the year. So October 1 pa yon. So from October 1 to December 31, ilang months na ang naglapse? Ilang months na ang nagdaan? So October, November, December. We have 3 months. So ibig sabihin, we have to adjust. Kasi yung 60,000 na for 6 months, 3 months doon, naggamit mo na. Gamit mo na, okay? The expense has already incurred. Okay? Na-incur mo na yung expenses. So yung 60,000 na nasa libro mo, it should be adjusted, okay, to its correct amount as of December 31. So paano natin siya i-adjust? So analyze natin. So that 60,000 is for 6 months. And half of that, which is 3 months, is already used or expensed already. So ibig sabihin, one half ng 60,000 is already used. So how do you record expenses? Again, as I said earlier, if you want to record your expenses, if you want to record the increase on the expenses, debit mo siya. So debit what? Debit rent expense 30,000 pesos. Anong i-credit mo? Baka may magtanong, bakit hindi cash yung credit? Please take note. On October 1, nagbayad na tayo ng cash, di ba? Kasi we already acquired it for 60,000 pesos. Yung entry natin ng October 1 is already prepaid rent, debit, and credit cash. Kung sa adjustment, magka-credit ka pa ng cash, doble na. Nag-credit ka na ng 60, nag-credit ka pa ng 30. So, parang 90,000 nang binayaran mo. So, hindi yan cash. Guys, if we want to adjust, ano bang gusto nating i-adjust dito? We want to adjust our rent, yung prepaid rent natin. So from 60,000, we want it to decrease by 30,000 pesos. That's why credit 30,000 prepaid rent. Okay? Makikita nyo yan mamaya sa table. Kung ano ang effect niya. Okay? Just want you to know that if you want to record your expenses, debit yan siya. Debit rent expense, 30,000. And you credit prepaid rent, 30,000. To record the 3 months rent na expense. Okay? If you have questions, ano lang ha? You may message lang kayo para mas mabasa ko siya. Next. What's next? I'm sorry. Wait lang. Ano ba yan? Okay. Next, if you remember also, nung nag-start tayo no October, we bought supplies, 'di ba? Yung binili nating sorry guys, please ano lang ha, don't ano na lang, wag niyo na lang i-mind itong year. Yung 2016 kasi 2017 tayo, sa problem, wag niyo na lang i-mind. So, nung bumili tayo, nung nag-start tayo, we have prepaid supplies beginning, magkano yon? 57,000, 'di ba? 57,000 yun siya sa libro. Now, syempre, at the end of the year, at the end of the period, yung 57,000 nun, ang part ng 57,000, syempre nagamit mo na, 'di ba? Ang sabi dito sa problem, the supplies on hand at December 31 amounted to 27,000 pesos na. On hand daw. So, ang naiwan na lang daw as of December 31 is 27,000. So, we have to adjust. How do we adjust? Paano natin siya malalaman kung magkano i-adjust natin? Please take note here that yung supplies beginning natin is 57,000. Sabi dito, may 27,000 na on hand na lang. So, ibig sabihin, ang nagamit is 30,000 worth of supplies. Okay? So, how do you record? Debit, supplies, expense, 30,000, and what will be your credit? Syempre, you want to adjust your prepaid supplies. You want to decrease it or lower it from 57, dapat ipakita mo na 27 na lang siya. So, how do you do it? Syempre, minusan mo siya ng 30. So, 57 minus 30 na credit, 27,000 na lang ang on hand, which is the correct amount of the supplies on hand as of December 31. Okay? Next. We have depreciation expense for a service vehicle amounted to 1,500 per month. Example natin dito is that explanation natin dito, for example, yung service vehicle mo, ang depreciation niya is 1,000 per month. How do we determine depreciation expenses? So, ang depreciation, sometimes we have actuarians or yung mga nag-estimate talaga on how much the depreciation will be, ganyan. Or sa cars, depende naman yan, minsan 20% yearly, 20% annually, or like 10%, 15%. It's nasa ano yan, nasa own accounting standards niyan. And then yung pagbili nyo, 'di ba? You have ano naman estimations and mga nag-estimate kung how much ang depreciation ng isang equipment, ng isang property, etc. Now, how do you record depreciation expenses? Ito, ano to ha, hindi tayo mag-solve dito na example. Mamaya, sa next example, dito, given na siya. Given na siya, nasabi niya, 1,500 per month daw yung depreciation expense. So, how do you record it? Oh, sorry. Wala ba akong sorry? Okay. How do you record it? Of course, depreciation expense, debit talaga. As I said earlier, when you want to record expenses, always on the debit side. Depreciation expense, 4,500. What's your credit? Accumulated depreciation, 4,500. Yung depreciation expense, yun yung expense account mo na for every depreciation amount or value ng property na nag-depreciate every time, from year, monthly. Bakit siya naging 4-5? Again, October natin siya binili. Okay? Today is December. So, October, November, December. So, times 3. Kasi monthly naman siya. So, 1,500 times 3 is 4,500. So, we have accumulated depreciation. Ang accumulated depreciation, same lang yan sila. Balance yan sila always ni depreciation expense and accumulated depreciation. So, si accumulated depreciation, ito yung value, kunyari, ang value ng sasakyan is 195,000, 'di ba? As time goes by, day by day, like our monthly, yearly, nagde-depreciate yung vehicle mo until such time na yung accumulated depreciation mo, malapit na din siyang maging 195,000. Kumbaga, papalapit siya ng papalapit dun sa value nung kotse or ng property until maging zero or until sabihin mo, pagdating niya ng worth 50,000 pesos, ayan, fully depreciated na siya, etc. So, that's how you record depreciation expense. Ito yung journal entry. You debit depreciation expense 4,500 and credit accumulated depreciation 4,500. So there are steps, formulas on how to solve the depreciation. We'll discuss further later sa another examples or doon sa exercises na ibibigay ko sa inyo for you to practice. So that is our adjusting entries. Okay, take note. Anong ginawa natin sa adjusting entries? The adjusting entries must be posted also. Saan? Sa general ledger. Okay, if natatandaan nyo, we have, di ba, the prepaid supplies. Prepaid supplies na 57,000. That's 57,000. Meron tayong adjustment. Di ba? We have our adjustment here. We have our adjustments. So, itong mga adjustments natin na ito, lalagay natin siya sa ledger. So, sa prepaid supplies, we have adjustment na 30. So, ang prepaid supplies na lang natin iniiwan. How much po? 27,000 ang prepaid supplies. Then, ilalagay din natin yung adjustment na debit sa supplies expense. So, ayan na siya. Prepaid rent naman. Diba, we started at 60. Nag-adjust tayo ng 30,000. So the balance is now 30,000 pesos only. We also have rent expense. Nilagay natin siya, 30,000 pesos. Again, saan galing itong amount na ito? Galing po yan sa adjusting entries. Kumbaga, sinummarize lang natin siya ulit. Every time na mag-journal entry kayo, ipopost nyo yan sa ledger or sa specific book ng account na yon na affected. For example, supplies, lahat ng adjustment sa supplies, lahat ng adjustment sa supplies expense, ilagay nyo sa prepaid rent yon. Summarize nyo siya isa-isa. Again, we also have accumulated depreciation and depreciation expense. Yan, 4,500 and 4,500 sa credit. Ito naman, depreciation expense is credit. So, next, after sa adjustment entries, after nyo siya ma-summarize, and after nyo siya ilagay sa sarili nilang ledger, anong next niyan? You are now ready for your adjusted trial balance in your financial statements. Okay. Before tayo niyan, balik muna tayo. Step 1. Ano nga ang step 1? Step 1 is you analyze if you analyzed and then analyze mo anong effect nito sa business mo, anong effect nito, paano mo siya i-debit, paano mo siya i-credit. That's step 1. Step 2, now, because you already analyzed kung anong effect niya, mag-journal entry ka na. You are now ready for recording. After mo mag-recording, step 3, anong gagawin mo? You post it from the journal to the ledger. Posting, ibig sabihin, iti-account mo. Yung kanina, yung i-summarize mo siya per account title. So, lahat ng transactions involving cash, ipasok mo doon sa libro niya. Transactions involving accounts receivable, ipasok mo din doon sa libro niya. So, summarize mo siya per account. Yun yung step 3. Step 4 is what? Trial balance. Kasi na-summarize mo na siya per account title, per book of account. So lahat ng account balances isa-summarize mo to debits and to credits para malaman mo kung balance sila. So yung ginawa natin kanina. Now, step 5 is adjustment. I-adjust mo yung mga transactions at the end of the period kasi hindi lahat yon correct. Kasi you have to adjust kasi meron doon na portion doon gamit na or portion doon expense na, so you have to adjust. Now we have to now we go to step 6 and 7, which is the trial balance and the financial statements. So dito, I want to show you here. Okay. If you're using your cellphone, baka maliit siya. Okay? Baka maliit siya, baka hindi niyo siya makita. But don't worry, I'll give you the copy naman. But if you printed the PowerPoint na binigay sa inyo, it's okay. Kasi para mas makita niyo. 'Di ba? If you remember, 'di ba, ito yung trial balance kanina. Ito yung ginawa natin kanina, 'di ba? The trial balance nung after nung posting or nung sa ledger. Now, adjustment. May adjustment tayo sa prepaid supplies, yan. Ito lang ang adjustments natin. Tatlo. Okay. Sundan niyo lang ako. Prepaid supplies, 57,000 debit. May adjustment siya na credit na 30. So, 57 minus the credit na 30. Magkano po ang adjusted trial balance natin? Diyan, we have 27,000. Yung prepaid rent, 60 minus 30, 30,000 din. Please take note ha, na pag different sila, kunyari debit and credit, minus yon, subtraction yon. But pag same sila ng column, like debit and debit, then credit and credit, i-add nyo siya. Pag opposite sila, deduction yun, subtraction yun, okay? From here, sa cash, wala naman siyang adjustment, so as is lang. Okay? Copy nyo lang siya. Same with accounts receivable, copy lang. So, yung lahat lang na may adjustments, yun yung i-adjust ninyo. So, here. So, that's the adjustment. So, wait lang ha. And then, accounts payable, assist lang din, copy nyo siya sa credit 140. Service revenue, copy nyo lang din siya as is. And then, we also have salaries expense, copy. Ito, rent expense, 30,000. Adjustment siya nasa debit, so debit mo din siya ilagay. Telephone, as is, copy mo lang. Supplies expense, 30, nasa debit siya. May adjustment din ang depreciation for 5. And then withdrawal as is, and capital as is. So, as you can see, lahat yan, nasa worksheet lang. Etong columns na to, yung nakikita nyo, this is a worksheet. Kung napagdaan nyo to nung college kayo or you're familiar with worksheet, yung yellow na maraming columns, yun, that's the worksheet. Ito, worksheet to siya. So we have the first 2 columns is for the trial balance. We have adjustments. We have adjusted trial balance. So, nandito na tayo sa adjusted trial balance. So, this is our adjusted trial balance. Now, question ko, ano nga yung sabi ko kanina na there are 3 things I want you to remember when you want to make your balance sheet? Ano nga yun? Ano yung 3 elements na dapat tandaan ninyo when you are making your balance sheet? Your assets, your liabilities, and your owner's equity. Now, if you're doing it with worksheet, madali lang talaga siya kasi if you're doing with balance sheet, worksheet, madali lang siya kasi i-move mo lang siya. For example, ito, balance sheet, ano nga yung sabi ko kanina na I want you to remember kung ano ang composition ng balance sheet, assets. What are assets in this case? Assets to hanggang dito. These are assets, your liabilities, and your owner's equity. What is your owner's equity in this case? Ito. Okay. So lahat to, assets, liability, and owner's equity, yun lang makikita sa balance sheet. So paano yun? So paano yan? Move mo lang. Saan ka mag-base? Dito, sa adjusted. Okay. Nasusundan ba? Kung saan galing? So ito, your balance sheet would show your assets, liabilities, and owner's equity. Please take note. Ito, assets to, yan. Assets, liabilities, and owner's equity. Now, what's this? 128,500. Yung 128,500 na yan, that's your profit. Okay? That's your profit. Kasi kung mapapansin ninyo, hindi siya balance dyan, di ba? Yung 523 tsaka 394. Hindi yan balance kasi, ay actually balance talaga yan. But, ang pinapakita ko lang sa inyo na yung difference ng dalawang yan is the profit, which is 128,500. Diyan natin minsan pinapasok yung, pinapasok natin siya doon sa income summary. Or diretso siya i-add sa, saan? Sa the Ganta Capital. Doon sa capital account mo. Now, sa income statement naman po, sa income statement naman po, ano naman po yung dapat natin i-reflect or dapat na makita sa makita natin sa may income statement? Ito, you have your what? Revenue and your expenses. So, yan lang. So, how do you do that? Again, yun lang, i-present mo. See, it's simple. You know, it's simple pag nag-worksheet kayo kasi isa lang. Isahang latag lang. Move na lang kayo. Saan lang kayo magkaka-problem niyan? Dito sa adjustment. If tama ang pag-adjust ninyo. If tama ang amount sa pag-adjust ninyo. If tama ang journal, ang adjusting entries ninyo. And after that, madali lang paggawa nung trial balance, balance sheet, tsaka income statement. So here you have your revenue, 257,000. You have your expenses, which is a total of 129,000. May difference sila, di ba? Anong difference nila? 128,500. Is it the same with the profit na reflected sa balance sheet? Yes. Dapat same sila. Okay? Kasi same talaga sila dapat. Okay? Yung difference ng 128 tsaka 128,500 din sa income statement. So absorb muna. I'll give you time to study the worksheet, the table, before we proceed to the next step. Actually, malapit na naman siya matapos. Okay. Lapit na natin matapos to na exercise. So, just want you to, analyze niyo muna kung saan to galing, etc. I'll give you time. And if you have questions, pwede niyong i-message. Off ko lang muna yung mic ko. Okay, again, I want to explain income statement. Diba? There are two things lang na I want you to remember when you are making income statement. What are those? Ang income statement, ang makikita lang dyan, revenue and expenses. Okay? Income, revenue, yun lang makikita nyo. So, revenue, service revenue natin is 257,500. Yan. We have salaries expense, rent expense, telephone expense, supplies, depreciation expense, which is eto. Okay, nasa debit. So, i-move nyo lang siya from here to here, copy nyo lang. So, that's your income statement, which is 129,000. Difference nung dalawa, 129,000 minus 257, di ba? Ano nga yung sa exercise natin kanina? Income minus expense equals profit or loss. In this case, anong meron tayo? Mas mataas yung revenue nyo, mas mataas yung income, which is 257,500, less 129,000 na expenses. You have a profit of 128,500, which is if ito total nyo siya sa 129, it's 257,500, which is equal to the credit side no income statement. Okay, yung sa balance sheet, saan siya galing? Now, take note, magkano po yung total debits? 523,000. Magkano po yung sa credit total niya? 394,500. Now, hindi siya balance, 'di ba? Kasi hindi talaga siya balance because the difference is what? The profit. So, paano yan siya? 523 minus 394,500 equals 128,500. And then, yung 394,500 na balance plus the profit of 128,500 is equal to 523,000 pesos, which is equal na siya sa debit side. Okay, ano na to, in next page ko, next page ko para makita niyo. I have a sample ata dito. Okay. Nag-closing pa pala ako. Ayan. So that's the example, or that's how you analyze and make your worksheet. Analyze nyo muna. Then if you have questions, message lang kayo. So that's our worksheet. So that's step 6 and 7. So ipo-proceed ko lang muna ha. Balikan lang natin yung mga medyo malabo na part later on as we go on our um discussion. Yung yung step 8 natin is closing journal entries. I just want to to go through all steps para hindi kayo malito. Or I mean, para ma-cover natin lahat. Yung step 8 natin is, anong step 8 natin? Closing journal entries. Sa closing naman, what's the importance of closing entries? 'Di ba sabi ko kanina, our end point talaga sa every bookkeeping and accounting period is you have to close your books. Okay? So you have to close your books. Nung book ng 2023, iko-close mo yun siya. Kasi bagong book yung gagamitan mo for 2024. What do you mean by that? Ibig sabihin yan, lahat ng mga temporary accounts mo, i-close mo. Okay? Ano yung temporary accounts mo? Yung expenses mo, yung revenue mo, yung withdrawal, your income summary, or yung profit mo, i-close mo yan sila. Why? We don't bring that to 2024. Kasi anong bibit-bitin mo lang sa 2024? Your beginning balances. Beginning balances ng mga, ng mga permanent accounts mo. What are those permanent accounts? Assets, your liabilities, your owner's equity, or yung capital account mo. Yun lang yung bibit-bitin mo. I hope you're familiar with beginning balances, ha? Yung, di ba, syempre, for 2024, you have beginning balances. Yun yung ending balances ng 2023. Yun lang yung dadalhin mo for 2024, which will be your beginning balances for that new year. Okay? To better understand, okay, ano yung i-close natin? Expenses, revenue, withdrawal, and your profit or your income summary. I-close natin siya. So, ito na yon. Diba? You have to close it. How do you close it? Saan mo siya i-close? I-close po natin siya lahat sa capital account. What do you mean by close? Ipapasok po natin siya lahat sa capital account. Okay? Yung service revenue natin, 'di ba, ang revenue is always on the ang ang revenue is always on the if you want to increase your service revenue, 'di ba? Ano siya? Credit. Now, if you want to close it, kung gusto mo na siyang i-close, ibig sabihin i-zero mo na yung service revenue kasi ipapasok mo na siya sa capital account mo. Anong gagawin mo? Babaliktarin mo siya. So you have to debit it. So service revenue, debit, 257,000. So pasok mo siya sa Daganta Capital. Now, you also have to close your expense account. Sorry, hindi lang siya na-indent, guys, ha. Ito, yung salaries. Sorry. It should have, may indentation dapat to. Okay, indent lang siya. Now, here, you have to close your expense account sa capital account din. Yung salaries expense mo, I mean yung expenses mo, 'di ba? If you record expenses, it's always on the debit side. But kung gusto mo siyang i-close, babalaktarin mo. Lalagay mo siya ngayon sa credit. Same with your withdrawal. So your withdrawal, i-credit mo siya to close it to your capital account. Please don't be confused. Pag tingnan niyo to, don't be confused with the closing entries. It's actually just a formality na i-close mo siyang books. Ito siya. Okay? Para mas maintindihan niyo. Ano yung close natin? Ano yung mga close ko na account? Temporary accounts. What are those temporary accounts? Ano yung mga temporary accounts na yon? Expenses, revenues, and your withdrawals. Okay, tingnan nyo to. I want you to watch this. Okay, ito. Tingnan nyo, yung salaries expense, di ba may closing entry siya? Oh, tingnan nyo to, di ba? Ito lahat ang Ito lahat sa ang expenses, may closing entries siya. Now, sa closing entries, tingnan nyo. 57,000 debit. Naglagay tayo ng closing entry na nasa credit. So, ibig sabihin, 57 minus 57, 0. I-close mo siya lahat. Ibig sabihin, i-zero mo lahat ng expenses na account, yung revenue na account, pati yung withdrawal. Tingnan nyo ito. The service revenue. Diba, 257,000, lagyan ng closing. Okay, so yan. Lagyan na natin siya ng closing. So, zero na siya. Lahat to zero. Given here, zero na yan siya, zero. And lahat to zero na. Because these are temporary accounts. Temporary accounts lang siya. Ibig sabihin, yung expenses nyo for the year 2023, hindi nyo naman na yan dadalhin for 2024 because another set of expenses and another set of revenues and income for that year. Okay? Iba siya. So that's why. So saan natin to kino-close lahat? Dito sa Daganta Capital. Please eyes sa Daganta Capital, eyes on Daganta Capital. If you take note, 'di ba? Ito, yung 250, that's our initial investment. Okay? In-add natin yung revenue kasi clean-nose natin, 'di ba? From saan saan po nanggaling yun? Saan po nanggaling yung 257 sa capital? Here. Dito. Sorry. Andito. 'Di ba? We have here Daganta Capital, credit 257. Meron dito Daganta Capital, debit 129. Meron dito Daganta Capital 25 debit. So post lang ninyo. Sorry. Post lang ninyo. So meron dito 257,500 revenue credit, expenses 129, 25 withdrawal. So what is the total? Total sa debit 154,000. Total sa credit 507,500. So your total Daganta capital is how much na? Magkano ng new balance mo ng capital mo? 353,500. Please take note also, 'di ba? We discussed earlier the changes in equity or changes in capital. Ito na po 'yon. This is it. Ito na yung nasa T account na to. You have the initial investment of 250. You add your revenue na 257,500. You less your expenses, you less your withdrawal, and as of December 31, your new capital balance from 250,000 pesos na initial investment mo, 353,500 na siya. So that is the changes in your capital account. Okay? It is affected by the revenues, the expenses, and your withdrawal. Okay. So, di ba sabi ko kanina, for the next year, for ngayong 2024, you have your new balances. You have your beginning balances. That beginning balances is from the last year, from 2023. Yung ending ng 2023, yun yung beginning balance mo for 2024. So how do you determine that? Kasi, di ba, after we make our FS, after nung FS nun, nag-close tayo ng books. After natin nag-close ng libro, we have, after natin nag-close ng temporary accounts, yung expenses, withdrawals, revenue, wala na yun sila. They are already closed to the capital account. Na-adjust na natin sila sa capital account mismo. So, what is our beginning balances for this new year? Here. Ito na siya. Please analyze, please observe na, let me erase it. Please observe. Ano pong nakikita nyo dito sa post-closing trial balance? Ang nakikita nyo lang is, ano lang po yung nakikita ninyo dito? Nakikita nyo lang assets, liabilities, and owner's equity. May nakikita ba tayong temporary accounts? Ano nga yung temporary accounts? Expenses, revenue, withdrawal. Nakikita pa ba natin sila? Hindi na. Because this is post-closing trial balance. We already closed those temporary accounts. Saan natin sila kinos? Sa Daganta Capital. If you noticed, from 250,000, naging 353,500 na ang ating post-closing trial balance. So, analyze. So, if you have questions, please ask lang. So, that is your post-closing trial balance. Take note, sa post-closing trial balance, we don't have any temporary accounts. We don't have expenses, we don't have revenues, we don't have withdrawals because ito po lahat, sila po lahat, ito, this is your new balances or new beginning balances nyo for the next year. For, kunyari, di ba, 2017 to, for 2018, yon. So, for the next year siya, na beginning balances. Yun yung bibit-bitin nyo lang. Ito lang, kung pag na-close nyo yung 2016, for, ay, 2017, for example, pag na-close nyo na yung 2017, tapos mag 2018 na kayo, ito lang bibit-bitin nyo. Hindi nyo na kailangan yung mga, yung libro nyo for 2017. Bago na, kasi for the new year, for the new accounting period, bago na expenses, bago na ang revenues, bago na lahat. Okay? That's our, uh, the post-closing trial balance. Okay. Ano ba next ko dito? Exercises na nga. So, yan. So, ba, if you have questions, ha, please ask lang. Open ko lang muna yun. Ay, wait. Ano ko ba isa? So, you have questions, saan medyo malabo sa journal entries ba? Again, first thing to do is really sa step 2 tayo talaga medyo mahirap lang sa recording. Actually, hindi naman siya mahirap if you're doing it every day. Because kunyari, nagre-record na kayo. Yung transactions nyo naman everyday, paulit-ulit lang yan. So, paulit-ulit lang din ang nire-record nyo. So, masasanay lang kayo. Masasanay lang kayo na everyday, ito lang i-record nyo, etc. But the most important step is journalizing, is yung recording. Kasi after mo mag-record, isa-summarize mo siya, di ba? Isa-summarize mo siya, ipopost mo siya from journal to ledger. So, kukunin mo yung balances ng each account. Pag nagkamali ka doon, mali na to lahat. Kasi mali na tong balance ng cash mo, mali na yung accounts receivable mo, mali na supplies mo, rent, etc. Hindi na yan magbabalance. If magbabalance man, mali ang presentation. Okay? Mali ang value na na-present mo. So that's why it's very important to make sure na may proper recording ka. Kasi para hindi ka umulit, hindi mo din hanapin kung anong step ka nagkamali. So that's our post closing trial balance. Now, may gusto lang ako ipakita. Isa-stop share ko muna to, ha. I want to pakita yung ano. Kaya guys, don't worry if for example, medyo may part na hindi kayo naintindihan or hindi niyo nahabol or hindi niyo nasulat. Because again, we have limited time. Okay, wait lang. Medyo kailangan natin siyang bilisan to cover all the steps. But don't worry, I'll send you this, the answer key. Dito naman lahat, yung journal entries yung nasa PowerPoint. But I want lang to emphasize, to highlight here. Kompleto naman siya from posting to general ledger, to adjusting entries, etc. Ito, nalagay ko naman siya lahat. And even for your practice set, kasi I will give you a practice set, yung para ipa-practice nyo lang sa bahay nyo for you to understand. Ito, hindi ko muna siya ipakikita. But, I want you to, gusto ko to siya ipakita. Ano bang itsura ano po ba itsura nung statement of changes in equity? Okay. Hindi to siya, hindi siya related doon sa problem natin nung nasa PowerPoint. Iba to siya. Ito yung sa practice set nyo, na ipa-practice nyo lang. Here, we have here, okay. We have here your statement of changes in equity. Ito po itsura niya. So, okay. Yung nasa statement of changes in equity, when we say equity, capital account mo. Okay, if ka lang, sole proprietor, yan. It shows or represents the changes in your capital account. Example, ano ba, may additional investment ka ba? Wala. Yung profit mo, ano bang i-add mo sa capital account mo, profit mo? Paano mo nakuha yung profit? Question nga, paano nga nakukuha yung profit? Saan nga nakikita ang profit? Di ba nasa worksheet ninyo, nasa income statement? Because income minus expenses equals profit or loss. So, dun yan siya nagagaling. Dun siya